I've told people like my talent is swimming. My passion was hockey.
I remember seeing the name, and I never really put two and two together
No.
until I met you a couple months ago
Yeah, and you're like, he
at the
looked
chamber.
different. Yeah, I
Yeah,
probably had long blonde curly hair because
yeah,
like hair dye was a thing at that age. And
yeah.
then it was probably also about 70 pounds ago. So if people ever ask me like how long ago I played hockey, I say 50 to 60 pounds
50
ago.
pounds ago.
There's still wins and losses. They're just different wins and losses.
Like,
Ambiguities. I
yeah.
love ambiguity though. Like that to me, that's important. Like
Okay.
I don't want to wake up in the morning and know exactly how the day's going to go.
So welcome to the Success Vault podcast.
Thanks, Sean.
We're really excited to have you here, Ryan. For those of you, I don't know too much about you.
That's
So
good.
normally I'd have a little intro. I know Ryan Donally as the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce here in Windsor.
Yep.
I know you were drafted by the Flames. I'm a big Flames fan, so that's this is going to be really exciting for me. And like we mentioned before the podcast, we're going to talk about a lot of different things. And so I'm excited to kind of get into it.
Cool.
So
Let's
let's
go.
start with where you grew up, how you grew up, and sort of what led you to sort of where you are today.
Yeah, so I was born in London, Ontario, 1985, February, cold day, snowstorm. Actually, I have no idea. But I was born in London, Ontario, and then my family moved down here to Tecumseh when I was 2. So I grew up in Tecumseh. Went to, people always asking like, you're not from here, but like, they're like, what high school did you go to? What grade school? So I went to A.V. Graham, went to Victoria Public, went to Bell River High School. Grew up in the mean streets of Tecumseh, just down the street from St. Greg's and Zares Plaza and all that stuff. So rode my bike around and ate Subway as much as I could. And then, I played sports growing up, have a younger sister. So my parents gave me the opportunity to, explore sports, explore kind of whatever I wanted to do. Kind of like most kids, grew up playing hockey, ball hockey, and then that turned on ice. And also found when I was really young, I had a love for swimming. So I played a little bit of baseball, played a year of soccer, but really started getting serious about 2 sports, swimming and hockey, by the time I was probably 9 or 10.
Okay.
So swimming and hockey were my 2 kind of passions. And those don't really line up as far as timeline because they're both, winter sports.
All year
round. It never stops. So swimming as hockey is where I kind of chased my dreams. And then as I was going into high school, grade 9 was the year that I knew, like going into grade 8 to 9 that summer, I kind of had that decision of like, okay, what do you want to chase as far as a career? Because I've told people like my talent is swimming, my passion was hockey. So despite being a, top national swimmer and, having a whole bunch of club records for the Windsor Aquatic Club, I chose hockey.
Yeah.
And hockey was what I focused on from grade 9 on. And, it got me far enough that you think it's cool that I got drafted the Flames.
Right. Yeah. Hey man, it's exciting. I remember like seeing the draft. I remember seeing the name, and I never really put two and two together until I met you a couple months ago.
Yeah, and you're like, he looked
chamber.
different. Yeah, I probably had long blonde curly hair because like hair dye was a thing at that age. And then it was probably also about 70 pounds ago. So if people ever ask me like how long ago I played hockey, I say 50 to 60 pounds
50
ago.
pounds ago?
Yeah.
It's a weight thing, not a time thing anymore.
Yeah, weight, not time. Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny you say that though, because I was very similar.
Yeah.
I grew up playing a lot of different things, hockey, a little bit of ball hockey, never got into ice hockey.
Yeah.
Soccer, swimming as well, which was my main sport, volleyball, which is where my parents played. And I had the same thing. I would say my passion was volleyball.
Yeah.
I was never going to be the 6'5" that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I was extremely good at swimming. And same thing around that grade 9, grade 10, it's kind of, you got to make that choice. For me, I actually hated other people's mistakes making me lose on the volleyball court.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate that because my parents played, I played volleyball from like 3 or 4. Like the moment I could stand, my sisters and I were peppering back and forth. Yeah. And so when I got into high school, I was already really good at volleyball.
And was it libero? Was that a thing at that?
No.
Okay.
No, it like when
it was a new rule, right?
Yeah. When I stopped playing volleyball, that's kind of when that came in. I would have been really good at that.
That would have been your skill. Yeah.
I would have been great at that. Yeah. I love diving all over the place and reading plays and all that kind of stuff. So when I play now, that's what I love doing is defense, because I don't really jump or hit very hard. But so I ended up choosing the swimming route. Yeah. Because that's just the thing that made the most sense.
Yeah.
Right. So
and made it national level. And I heard that your listeners are interested in seeing us swim against each other in a race.
I guess so. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Everybody says I should get back in the pool. It's actually been a long time. You and I talked about
Yeah.
this maybe a couple weeks ago. I just haven't got back into it. I feel like every time I get in the pool, I start feeling good, getting back in the rhythm, and I say, you know what, let's see how good I am now compared to what I was
Yeah.
before, and then I hurt myself and I have to take time off again.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to stop that.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. Like, people are always like, oh, how much do you play hockey these days? I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Two things. Like, my knee is a wreck. So, like, I can't play hockey. But I remember, especially when I retired, it took me a couple years to go, like, I can actually enjoy men's league hockey because, you know, you get to this level that you think is, you know, I was as close as you could possibly be to be full blown NHL or full career, right? And when that ended, and it was, you know, injuries that ended my career. It wasn't that I just got too old, fat, tired, whatever it might be. So you get back on the ice the next year, but you're not practiced, you're not trained. So it took me a couple years to realize I'm like, I'm never going to be as good as I could be,
Right.
and I'm never going to get to that level again. So if I know that, I can go have fun. I can go play hockey with my buddies and have beers and, like, you know, just do all the things that adult men's league hockey is about, and camaraderie and, you know, just enjoying that time. But it took me some time to get to that point. And then my knee just kind of kept deteriorating. So I don't play at all anymore. I coach 7-year-old kids hockey.
Yeah.
It's great.
And are you coaching at the university still?
No, it's been a few years.
A
So
few years.
I did, so when I stopped playing hockey, I was actually telling the story today. So I had 3 concussions my last year in pro, and that's the reason why I retired. But at the end of that year, because I was in the ECHL at the time, so NHL, AHL, ECHL, that's kind of the 3 levels. Concussion in the NHL, start of that year. Concussion in the American Hockey League, middle of that year. And then Anaheim Ducks, who I was employed by the time, they said, okay, Ryan, go back down to the ECHL, East Coast Hockey League. Don't do anything dumb. Don't fight. Don't just play. Just get healthy, right? And you know, next year we'll bring you back up, and we've got plans for you with the Ducks, and see where it goes. And if you make it, you make it. But so, anyways, at the time there was only one coach in the ECHL, which, you know, ECHL has smaller budgets. You know, not a ton of fans. I was in Bakersfield, California. So when my career ended from the playing perspective, or my season ended from playing perspective, 3 concussions, they said, Ryan, do you want to start coaching? And that's actually how I got into coaching. Is I knew my hockey year was done, but they needed another guy on the bench. So I started coaching the defense, and loved it. And then I started coaching Windsor men's hockey when I retired over the summer, sorry. And then coached junior B. Thought I was going to chase the pro hockey dream as far as like a lifestyle and career. And then, you know, had the opportunity, and I just said, you know what, it's not for me. I'm going to get married. I'm going to settle in Windsor-Essex here. I'm going to, you know, get married to my girlfriend, who is now my wife, who is now my mother of my children. And life went a different direction, and I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because I think, and you bring up a very good point, that you retired from hockey because of injuries.
Yeah. And
you kind of came to the realization that you just weren't going to be able to play at that level anymore. Maybe, and I don't know, I'm spitballing this. Maybe, so I chose to retire because I was just done.
Yeah.
It wasn't an injury. I was just
lost the love of
it. I'm over it. I was tired of spinning my wheels. I was tired of trying to make the Olympics and not getting there. And I came close, but I chose to retire. And so maybe that's why whenever I get back in the pool, I'm like, maybe I can still do this, because it wasn't like, it was just a choice. And maybe I just haven't come to the realization that I'll never be that swimmer. I don't know.
And I think the cool thing about swimming that taught me is like how far you can actually push yourself. And like, when you think you're tired, you're actually not. And like, how far can lactic acid threshold take you?
Yeah.
And it was fascinating because, you know, I didn't know what I was learning at that time, and like how far you can push your body, until I'm now training to be like a world-class hockey player, and I'm training the bike, or I'm training in the off season. And before you know it, like, I'm with Calgary, like destroying VO2 records, and like crushing the wind gate on the bike. So VO2 is blood oxygen level. So I had that record. I may well still have it. I don't know. But I destroyed hockey players on VO2. And I assume it's because either I grew it growing up, my lung capacity, or just the fact that, you know, that was how I was built, and I could
lots of swimmers
push my
have
body
high
far.
VO2s. Yeah. I don't know if it's just that we have to hold our breath and then we have
Yeah.
to whatever, but we all have pretty high VO2s.
Yeah. High VO2. And then, that translates great to the bike. So I was a really good cyclist, and who knows, maybe that's my next thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to run around on my knee blowing that thing up. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll try to race
It's
people on bikes.
interesting you say that, because I would say I'm very similar in the sense is like volleyball is that thing. I absolutely love it. It's a game. You can control things, you can't control some things, but swimming is like I control everything, right?
Yeah.
So did you learn that hyper competitiveness from your parents?
I assume so. I don't know if it's one of those things that you go, your mom or your dad or parents or whatever will go, you need to be more competitive. Like I think they, as a parent, and especially with me, I've got a 5 and 7-year-old boys, you put them in situations where they can learn and try, and, you shape them however you can.
Mhm.
It's funny, about 3 weeks ago, my son was just kind of lollygagging on the soccer field, and this was like multiple weeks in a row, and he loves soccer. He was just walking around, and I got really frustrated with him. This is my 7-year-old. I said, like, I don't care if you score. I don't care if I want you to have fun,
Yeah.
but like, it's more fun when you're running and you're competing and you're going out there and you're trying. And honestly, the last 3 weeks, he's been outstanding. Like, he's running hard. And I'm like, see, this is like, I don't know if that's what my parents did to me
Right.
to make me competitive, but like, yeah, maybe the little words of wisdom that
Little
help
words of
impart
wisdom.
like life
Yeah.
lessons on your kids.
So did you know that you wanted to be a high level hockey player as a kid? Or it wasn't something until you're like, okay, I'm really tall, I'm really good.
Yeah.
This could be something for me.
I was never really good. Like, I was good, but I was far from a prodigy. Like, there were kids out there that you're like, that kid's scoring 50 goals a year. Like, I was always the second or third best player on the team.
Okay.
But I had a good all around game. Like, I was never the kid that scored hat trick after hat trick,
Yeah.
but I would play lots of minutes. I could play every situation. I could be tough. I mean, and that kind of translated my career. There's a lot of things I could do to help the team. I was a good leader. I was always a captain. Like,
Yeah.
um, becoming a professional hockey player is different than being a really good 12-year-old hockey player.
Right.
Right. Like, it's so much different because
Yeah.
there's only a couple. Like, if you look at the NHL, there's only 6 guys that try to score goals. I mean, they all try to score, but like, there's 6 guys that are like
Really good.
elite, the
Ovi,
best hockey players you've ever seen in your life. And
McDavid, Ovi, Sydney.
yeah, those guys, right?
Yeah.
And I learned that when I was 18. I watched Jerome McGinley shoot pucks after practice, and he was hitting one-timers. Like, this is my first NHL camp, and he's hitting one-timers, and he's going, coach is yelling, short side, bar down. Sure enough, slap shot, hard as you've ever seen in your life, short side, bar down. Passing it in front of him, behind him, off his back foot, like as hard as you can make a shot on the player to shoot it. The coach was doing that to him, and every single time. And at that point, I'm like, I'm never gonna be that guy. Like, I'm never gonna be that good. The skill of those guys, McDavid's, or at the time it was, Corey Perry's, like those guys, so much better than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
So what is a third line guy? What does that guy do? What does Sean Horkoff do? Like, that was a guy that I looked at. And what about the third line left winger for the Edmonton Oilers? Like, how am I that guy that wears an assistant captain, but is not the guy that scores 50 a year?
Right.
And he's got a 12 or 15-year career, and he's the captain wherever he goes. Like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Because that's who I could be. And that's what I tried to become. And, I never scored. I was never leading scorer on my AAA team. I mean, I played AAA all the way growing up. So, like, yeah, I was a good hockey player, but I was never like, oh my God, you got to come watch us play. Whereas swimming was, I mean, I could win any race I was in anytime, no matter what, without training.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be on the ice 5 times a week, and I'd go in the pool 3 times a week. And 12-year-olds at that age are swimming 7 or 8 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
I just had that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
I'm
really
sure you had that
interesting.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was super athletic. I mean, learning golf, learning whatever as a young kid, but I was slightly different. I watched Donovan Bailey win his gold medal in '96 from my living room floor. And I was like, Olympics is something I want to do. That's what I want to do. And I didn't know what sport I wanted to do. I didn't know. I was still swimming at the time. Obviously, I started when I was 6, so I'd been maybe a year or 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that would be really cool. But I didn't know if it would happen, what sport it would happen in, but I was just really athletic, very gifted athletically. And you teach me the rules of a sport,
Yeah.
I'll be good at it. Even as like an adult learning something, teach me how to play tennis. I'll be pretty good for, you know, a washed up 35-year-old swimmer. So,
Yeah.
but,
Do you want to hear something crazy
yeah,
about
of course.
being competitive and like practicing and like the ultra competitiveness? I am ultra competitive. Like I think you can ask any of my friends, my wife, I am ultra competitive. I love golf. Like I absolutely love golf. Okay. I will not let myself practice at golf.
You won't
I
let
will never
yourself
practice. I will
golf.
not practice golf. I will not go to the drive range. I will not work on my wedge, because the minute that I start saying I'm going to try to be better at this, then I have expectations. And then I will not live up to those expectations of the golf course, and the frustration will come in.
Right.
So if I know that I go out there and I'm like, I'm going to go play with my buddies, I'm, you know, good enough, I can play any course, but I'm not going to work on my game.
Yeah.
Because if I work on the game, then I expect to be better.
Yeah.
And golf is the most infuriating game in the world if you've
is.
played it. And I could see myself just hating the game because I'm trying to get better at it. So now I just enjoy it.
It's funny you say that. Literally 2 weeks ago, I play in like a old, you know, father's, you know, no drinking league.
Yeah.
Every other Sunday, and I shot my best round of my life. I shot 76.
Great score.
Fantastic.
Play, yeah.
8 better than I've ever done in my life. Don't know where it came from. I just approach shots just happened to always be on the green and not long or short or left or right.
It was one of those days.
One of those days. And I was like, man, before I hit 40, I want to shoot under par. And I've taken the opposite where I'm like, now I need to practice. Now I want to like achieve this thing. And we were just talking earlier. I find it very difficult because I find that business has become that competitive thing for me. For the longest time after I retired from swimming, I couldn't compete. I didn't know how to compete in the business world. It took some, like, I don't know what it was. I had some mentors that had to like help me through it, but like, business is one of those things where there's no rules. There's no, you know, other than doing right or wrong, right? There's morally, but there's no rules. There's no start. There's no finish. There's no end game. There's no winner, loser. Like it's an infinite game, as Simon Sinek would say. And I didn't know how to compete. And then when I learned, okay, this is how I'm going to compete in business. Yeah. I have not worked out. It's so hard for me to get back into the workout thing because I just want to spend all my time in the office. And as someone who literally just had a child, you know, it's 2 months old. It's fantastic. I want to be around when, you know, and I want to, like we were talking about, I want to be able to compete with my kids and I want to be able to stay in shape. But trying to make that like mental shift from business back to sports, it's been really interesting and challenging.
Yeah, I agree. My business is different than yours in some ways because, I mean, yours is more of a competitive business. Like you're getting client, you're not getting client. You got to generate revenue, and I do too. I mean, we've got wins and losses. Like the chamber definitely has that, but I think for me, it's a lot about collegiality and team building. And I mean, for me, winning, I think the chamber winning, yes, of course, membership is great and great events is important, but like overall, the collegiality of how Windsor-Essex is doing is really, really important to me. So for me, it's kind of like I'm the team player, like I'm the team captain. That's kind of the feeling that I have. Yeah. And our team is trying to compete. Like this is very much a hockey.
I was going to say it's very similar to what you
as
were
opposed
trying,
to a swimming analogy.
It's very similar to what you were trying to do as the NHLer.
You got it, right? Like I'm not going to be the star player, and I don't know who the star player is in our community. Maybe that's the mayor. I mean, you know, maybe that's our elected official. I don't know whoever that is, but like it takes a bunch of people working together for a hockey team to win. Just like I think it takes a lot of people working together for a region and economy to win. And if I'm one of the leaders of that economy, that's where I'm proud to be. And I think that's my role right now. And that makes me, I want to win for the region, right? Like, I think that's important. Whereas swimming was, I want to win. Right. Like, as much as swimming is said to be a team sport, it's not. It's an individual sport, right? Like, it's you win, other people lose. Yep. Go as fast as you possibly can, and everybody else deal with it. Right. Business for me and my role is not that at all. It's how do we win? Right. And I don't know who we're competing against, but I do know that, you know, again, this is probably just my upbringing, growing up in the community, my dad having a business and like, just all of the things that have gone into making me who I am,
Yeah.
that's kind of shaped what my driving force is now is how do we, like the competitive thing is how do we win?
Right.
And being a letter or assistant captain or captain of the team.
Okay. So you say let's talk a little bit about, because I think it'll come full circle, but so your dad had a business.
Did. Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about what business it was,
Sure.
what lessons he maybe instilled from you growing up with a father who was very entrepreneurial,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
And then how you came to get into the role you are in today.
Yeah,
as president of
good
the
segue.
chamber.
Yeah. So my dad, when we moved down here, he opened a business called Crossings Menswear. So it was at the mall. So it was part of a chain, kind of throughout Ontario, but he had a menswear store in the mall, and like a lot of hours, worked a lot of hours, right? Because just like all of our folks that are members or people, like the hour that you're spending working on the floor is an hour you're not spending paying somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. So that really is important for him because at the end of the day, his bonus and his salary and all this stuff was tied to profitability. Right. So I think what I learned from him as it relates to being a small business owner is, how life defining, challenging it is. Right. He wasn't at all the events, and every Boxing Day when our family got together at Christmas, like that's when he was at the mall. Right. So, the commitment to allowing, and this is what I want to do for my family is I never hurt for anything. Did we always have the most money? No. But there was never a question whether or not I could play AAA hockey or be a swimmer or like I had every single opportunity.
Yeah.
And I realized that it was at the expense of maybe not going to watch my hockey game, but maybe he was at work so I could go to that hockey game or that tournament out of town. Right. So that was pretty important life reflection at this point, especially now as I have 5 and 7-year-old boys. So what can I do now to allow them to have the same opportunities that I have?
Yeah.
And, my gig, I'm not going to get rich in. Like I'm a leader of a not-for-profit in our community. It's not, it's got more status than it does dollars coming in. And that's fine because that's the life I signed up for and I absolutely love it. And again, that's not my win and that's not what I compete at. So that's kind of one of the life lessons I learned, but also, my mom was in sales. So my mom worked for Morton Wholesale and my mom worked for Hershey's. So as a sales rep.
Okay.
So we were the family that had always had chocolate. So like if people are like, hey, do you like chocolate or like Easter, those Easter eggs, like, I don't know what they're called, but they're like Eggies, I think they're called. So the minute that Easter was done, Eggies would not sell. Like they'd pull them off the shelf. So the day after Easter, I would have a wall of cases of Eggies at my house. And I hate the things now because for me, they're everywhere.
All the time.
So I don't know how the heck this goes back to the question you asked, but but maybe that's, I know my mom was very competitive. My dad was very competitive, played high level sports, but how does that segue into what I'm doing now? Well, I played for the Spitfires as the captain of the Spitfires here. Met a girl from Bell River. We got married. I wanted to settle here. This is my home. I love Windsor-Essex. Went to school here, did both my undergrad and my grad school here. Started working for the university. Started promoting the business school because I was working for the MBA program at the time. So I was promoting Windsor-Essex as a place to live, do business, especially young professionals. So that's kind of how I got into that. I was part of the Windsor National Film Festival, so I was in the arts community a little bit. I, of course, had the sports background. And then it was kind of interesting. I've actually said it publicly before, but Drew Dilkins was talking about how in 2018, the General Motors plant was leaving in Oshawa, like it was basically disbanding. And he called out for economic diversification in our community and what that meant and how it, made sure that our community and economy would still moving forward. And I remember listening to that speech. I'm like, I've sold this region on a whole bunch of different platforms for a lot of years, whether it's recruiting for sports or recruiting for hockey or the NBA and I said, I can do this. Like, I know, I love this community. I know everything about it, or a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
And I want to tell everybody else how great it is. And I want businesses to come here because they should do well and Windsor should do. And I'm going back to this whole thing, winning as a team. So I did investment attraction for Invest Windsor-Essex. So I foreign direct investment, traveled the world, said, hey, come to Windsor. This is
Wow.
a great place to be. So I did that for a couple of years, and then had the opportunity to go and work at the municipal level for Lakeshore, municipality of Lakeshore. And I'd like to say I learned how the sausage is made from the development side of things. Like, municipal government has such an impact on our daily lives, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. It impacts much more than the provincial or federal levels.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to learn what that was like. So I did that for 4 years, built some profile through there, learned planning, learned economic development, learned, the challenges of building, starting, doing a business, working with solo entrepreneurs, small businesses, just development in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then this opportunity came up with the chamber, and I said, I've been doing it in a whole bunch of different capacities, and now I get the opportunity to represent our region and our business community, and try to win as a collective, because I do believe that, especially as it relates to Windsor, is we have to do well together. Like, all tides raise all boats, as opposed to us working against each other. So,
right.
I'll call myself a coach or a captain or, a general manager of the business community here, and trying to make sure that our team, and I say team, like our regional economy, is winning. And that's kind of what I feel my task is these days.
Right. That's super interesting. Man, our lives are they're very similar, maybe different sports, different regions, but I mean, my dad had me at 40. Yours was, you said 39.
Late 39. Yeah.
Grew up very similar. Never had to worry about money, but so a couple things that you said there. So did you always feel that your dad was working so that you could do things, or was there a period of time where you felt a little left out, that he wasn't at those things? Because I had that experience. I don't think it was until I was probably, I think from maybe 15 to 17, I was always like, man, my mom's always there, my dad's not there, my dad's never there, my dad's never there. And until I was probably 17 or 18, I never made the correlation of like, man, my dad's in sales.
Yeah.
He's always at Boxing Day sales. He's always at holiday sales. And that's where most families got their holidays. And my dad was always the guy working.
Yeah. I haven't, I didn't really try to make that connection. If I think of like who drove me to practices and was at games, my dad made it absolutely as much as possible. And especially as I was, now playing pro, and like, he would be the guy that would drive up to Oshawa if we were playing on a Thursday night. Like, so, he made the effort as much as he possibly could. Yeah. So I'd say in that capacity, like, did I feel that he was working and wasn't there? No, not at all. Honestly, like, I think it was, he was the one that drove me to swimming practice before school, right? Like, he would sleep in the van or watch me, whatever. I mean, I was out in the pool, so it didn't really matter. But it's fascinating you put it like that. But no, you know what? And the other thing, like, did I ever? I never had to worry about money, because I always had the opportunity to do what I needed to do.
Right.
Did my parents? I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a thriving business that went multinational. It was you gotta work hard every single day.
Yeah.
So I probably learned a lot of skills and work ethic and determination through that. So what did your parents do?
So my dad was in sales.
Yeah.
He worked for the Alberta government for a period of time when I was a kid. And then it went from Ford. He sold cars for probably 6 or 7 years. Mm-hmm. He was at Leon's doing furniture and everything for a few more years. Staples for a long time. He ended his career at Sleep Country.
Okay.
Which is actually, I did 7 years in financial services. I took a 1-year hiatus to work at Sleep Country. So what ended up happening was the guy who was teaching me financial services had moved here to Windsor. And so I felt like the guy that was mentoring me was kind of gone. I wasn't sure if this was for me.
Yeah.
Financial services is really the only thing I've ever known. I've had some tiny little jobs for here and there, but as a swimmer in our swim schedules, that like you can't have a job for 3 hours in the middle of the day. Like, it's just not going to happen. Right. So, financial services is really all I've known.
Yeah.
And I loved helping people. I loved solving problems. I just didn't know if it was the career for me.
Yeah. Which is tough, because financial services, like, if you're getting into it, you're not getting into it to make rich, to be rich immediately.
No.
Like, I mean,
It's a long-term game.
it's a long game.
Yeah.
Relationships and keeping people with you and building credibility and trust and like, you know, life planning with people. Like it's not something that you can do and walk in year one and make bank and just say, thanks, that was great. Like, you got to be invested for the long haul.
Big time.
And grow with people.
And some of your, some of your clients become some of your best friends because you have had them for so long, and your kids are playing with their kids, and it's actually amazing the relationships that come from it. But I was living with my uncle who ended up committing suicide.
Sorry to hear that.
I was one who found him, so it was a pretty tough couple months there. And decided that I was just going to pack up my life and move. I wanted to change, get out of Calgary. And I got back into financial services here, which...
How'd you pick Windsor?
So the gentleman that was teaching me the business had moved here. So he came here, I want to say mid 2015. His spouse is originally from Kingsville. So they came out here to like, you know, see family, whatever. And he was like, man, like Detroit's across the river. At that time, real estate prices were really fantastic, especially coming from Calgary, extremely low. And so he ended up settling here, and he started growing the office, and he's like, man, I got so many people. I don't know what to do with them. I can't train them all. So we were having conversations for like 8 or 9 months before my uncle took his life. And once he took his life, I, you know, kind of disconnected for a few weeks and just kind of got my stuff right. And I'm like, okay, do I love what I'm doing at Sleep Country right now? You know, I spent 7 years helping people put money back in their pocket. And now I've been basically trying to sell something and take money out of their pocket. And I just couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I do love financial services. I do want to help people. I do want to give back. I do want to do all these things. And if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it with the person that taught me the business. Yeah. So I literally just, you know, I worked as much as I could for 3 months. Saved up as much money as I physically could, and literally packed up my car and drove here. I was here within like 34 hours or something like that. I started work the next day.
That's
like amazing. I went right to the office and I was at work the next day. And it's funny that so coming back to what you said earlier about Windsor, it's amazing to me since I've been here. So I've been here since October 1st of 2017. So call it almost 8 years. So how many people don't know the amazing things that are going on in Windsor? Like, so many people think, I've heard the joke that, you know, Windsor's the armpit of Ontario or whatever. But so many people ask me why I move here, and they just don't know how great it is.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Best weather. Detroit's right there. Yeah. Growing businesses, you know, small town feel. Yeah. If you really want the big city, you can go across the river. You can do anything you want here.
Except climb a mountain.
Travel's great.
You can't climb a mountain.
It's if you want to climb a mountain, I guess. I never actually did too much of that, but my wife and I went out. Our first trip together was out to Alberta to see my family, and we went to Banff, and that's all she wanted to do was hike. Yeah, and I had never hiked them, so it was neat. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. You can't climb mountains. You can't downhill ski.
Yeah,
pretty much the rest.
I wasn't a winter sport guy, so skiing's not my thing.
Yeah, we were indoors, swimming in pools.
Yeah,
I think the thing that you hit on there that I teach at the university a little bit too, and you know I love mentoring, and it's a huge thing and part of my life, but I mean, sales are extremely important. Everything is sales. You're selling something at any time. Yeah. But the thing that you have to understand is you have to love the product that you're selling. And for me, and this is, you know, no disrespect to my first job out of school, is I was working for Stellantis. And I was in the marketing team. So at the end of the day, like I'm selling vehicles, like I'm broadly selling vehicles to the public, right? I didn't care. Like I didn't care about selling that product. And then my next job, I went and worked back at the Odette MBA program at the University of Windsor. And I had the opportunity to sell a program that I absolutely loved and changed my life.
Right.
So at that point, I'm like, oh, I love sales. I didn't realize I loved it, but I love selling things that I believe in. And it sounds like you have to sell things you believe in. And I think that is an extremely important message to anybody that's out there.
100%.
If you're going to sell something, you got to believe in what you're selling. And that's helped guide me in my decision-making as my career progressed, because I know the things that I'm working on or the organizations I'm with or leading now, I can sell what we're doing and I believe in it. And then you can sell with conviction, and then it doesn't become selling. It's just talking about the things that you're doing and you're inviting people to be part of it. So
right.
I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, especially the fact that like everything is selling,
Everything's selling.
right? Whether it's
You're selling an idea, you're selling
selling an
yourself,
idea, selling yourself, selling your friends to go to a movie with you, selling that girl as to why she should go on a date with you. Like everything in life is
I was
selling.
a terrible salesperson.
I
with
can't. I can't understand, and I guess it's maybe just my brain's broken, but just like so many people they hate selling, but it's in everything we do.
Everything you do. And
Right?
I tell my MBA students that I'm like, look, this is not a sales class, like this corporate consulting, but I'm like, you're selling something every single day.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go to your boss and you say, I think we should do this. Well, you have to convince that person why you should do that. Or, a direction you want to take the company. Like, okay, great, but why? Like understand what the value proposition is on whatever you're pitching, and then make sure that you've refined that ask, and then make that ask, and you will either succeed or not. Right. And that's to me, like, that's where my competition comes in. Like there's still wins and losses. They're just different wins and losses. And they're maybe not quite as measurable quantitatively, but there's wins and losses every single day for me. And I love that. That's important to me.
Right. Yeah, because you're in a whole different sector of things, right? You're dealing with companies and you're dealing with international businesses coming into the city. You're dealing a little bit with everything, right?
Government officials, politics, not-for-profits, committees, stakeholders. Like it's kind of this mix mash of like where my job is. And I'm learning what it is and where I need to take it and what I need to focus more on and less on. And but it's fascinating. Yeah. I'm now about 6 months in, and it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah,
throw tariffs in the mix too, and before you know it, I've had like 90 media interviews from outlets all over the globe.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so it's been
amazing. We're in a really weird time right now with Trump at the helm in the U.S. and just the constant tweet here, tweet there, change this day, next day it's different, and there's very in our business we say volatility. It's just very unknown what's going to happen, and most people are typically used to having just a consistent message, constantly the same all the time, and now it's like every day is different.
Every day is different. I learned very early that I should always have a suit and tie in my office because I don't know what's going to be said, and I don't know what I'm going to get a call from media on, or which interview I've got to do, or which person that I need to go speak with. So that changed
that's
pretty
got to
quick.
be an interesting
ambiguities. I love ambiguity though. Like that to me, that's important. Like, I don't want to wake up in the morning and know exactly how the day's going to go.
I get that.
I can't like I know where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to do, but
that's what I love about my job, being the fact that whether you're taking somebody out for lunch or meeting somebody for the first time or meeting somebody you've had as a client for 10 years or whatever, like every day is different. I don't know if I'm going to be on calls all day or in business meetings, developing our systems and processes. Like every day is different, which brings a lot of like fun into the mix.
Yeah. And at some point you probably sat down and said, is this something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Like I knew that I would never be able to go sit in a padded room.
Which we're in right now.
And like pound on a keyboard all day long or data entry, or like, I knew that I needed to be out doing things, active in the community. And yes, I do. I love doing data. Like I love sitting and doing Excel spreadsheets and figuring it. Like it's kind of weird that I've learned that I love that, but I do. But it can't be my day.
Yeah.
So it's got to be this. It's got to have conversations.
Okay, so let's pivot a little.
Sure.
What do you think? I asked somebody earlier about this. What do you think are 2 lessons that you wish you would have learned sooner in the business / mentality / whatever, getting through life? What do you wish you could have learned sooner that maybe the people watching could take and learn from and implement in their life before it's too late?
So 2 lessons that I've learned over my years that I can translate to other people or have. I mean, I think we've talked about one already, and that's sales is everything. You will be selling something, whether it's an idea or like a product or like, and endorsing that and loving that and not being afraid of selling things, like I think is extremely important because it's part of business. It's part of life. Like, so I know I'm going back to something. So definitely sales. The other thing that I think, I mean, I've always kind of known, but is really, really been important to where I'm at now is how important relationships are, and making sure that you're approachable, easy to get along with. I mean, maybe it's just the nature of where I'm at and who I am, but like, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and share your opinions, but also be respectful of the person's opinion you're getting back. And they're not always going to align, right?
Yeah.
But
which I think is missing a lot in today, right now. It's like, if you have an opinion that differs, one of us has to be right, one of us has to be wrong. And I'm a very big believer, I'm assuming you're going to say this, is that there is no right or wrong. I tell my clients,
there's no right or wrong.
Anytime somebody comes to me and says,
it's about perspective.
Anytime my clients come to me, or a prospect comes to me and says, well, like, what's the right thing to do? There is no right thing to do. It's, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? What things are going to get you to that point?
Yeah.
And what works for you? There is no right or wrong. It's, what's the thing for me?
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about right or wrong, and this kind of ties back to our whole conversation today, is like, it's kind of weird where you try to place competitiveness in that mix too, because we're both competitive people and we both like to win and lose. And if you think about your perspective or your idea versus my idea, it doesn't have to be against each other. Like, your idea can't win and mine can't lose. There can be both wins, right? Like, and I think it's kind of this weird life lesson that you're going to have to learn at some point, especially if you're an ultra competitive young kid like we were.
Yeah.
Like, you're not always going to win. They're not always going to win. You try to find situations where you can both win.
Right.
Right. And that's where I think I found this career path and journey for me is I'm trying to make everybody win.
Right.
Like, that is the cool thing. And the losses are group losses. And it's like, it's a collective loss as opposed to a individual loss. We might have a key member decide that they want to work with us anymore, and that'll be a loss for the business or the organization. But if we're continuing to push the collective good up, then I think it can be communal wins. Right. And I don't know how this exact ties back to the whole, relationships matter, but I think they do. And I think if you understand the perspective of what you're looking for, or, other folks around here are looking for, I think that's when we can figure out ways that we can all collectively win. And I think that's part of the role of where the chamber fits, kind of that nexus of like business. What does business need to win? What does government need to win? What does the not-for-profit space need to win? And then how does the chamber, my job, kind of bring all these together as the nexus between those and say, well, business needs this, municipalities need this, not-for-profit space needs this. How do we all kind of do this?
Right.
Right. And I think that's where I want to take the chamber.
Okay.
And I think that's where it's been, but I think that's where I'm going to try to elevate it.
Yeah.
Because if we're all doing well,
the whole region's winning.
You got more money in your pocket.
Yeah.
I got more money. Well, I don't, but people have more money than I'm in for-profit space, right?
We'll help you with that. Don't worry.
There you go. They've got more money in their pockets. The whole region's doing better. And like, we're changing, we're shifting perspectives and mentalities, right? And, do I think 2 years, 5 years, 10 years that people go and look, oh my God, look at Windsor-Essex. That is the place to live in the world. No, maybe not, but convinced. I mean, for you, you love it. And before you know it,
I would never have thought of it.
No,
to be honest.
No.
And it's been amazing. I mean, met my wife, obviously, met great clients, my business partner, like everything has just continued to flourish. It's just amazing. I think the area is fantastic. It really is. Everybody wants to help everybody. I do feel, this is a very, it's a sizable community, let's say, but it's got that very small town feel. Everybody's trying to help everybody win. It really is.
Now you get 500,000 people in Windsor-Essex.
Yeah.
Right. And like, we're on this little peninsula down here. And it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes, especially as, what we thought was our best friend across the border, that relationship changing potentially permanently. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you said it earlier, some of the best parts about Windsor is the fact that we do have relationships with Detroit and you can go do those things. So, that's the other element of what my job is. I want to keep those relationships going, right? We have to maintain that. We can't sell our house. Like Windsor's here, Detroit's there. We're not selling our property.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is where we're going to be. So
Right.
how do we make sure that that relationship, even if it's just Windsor-Essex and Detroit, how do those stay together? I think is a pretty important thing.
Right. Okay. Last two questions.
Sure.
First one being, we talked about two things, two lessons
Yep.
people could learn. What would you say is one or two things outside of the sales and the relationship that you learned that got you to where you are today?
Ooh. Things that got me to where,
Like without those
Yeah, yeah.
things, without learning those lessons, you wouldn't be the
Yeah.
Ryan Donally of today.
yeah, I think the one of the things that I learned is not everything's in your control, right? Like you can't control everything.
That's a good one.
And I say that because like my hockey career was ended. I made the decision at the end of the day to walk away from it. I could have come back and risked my life
Tried
potentially.
and stuff, right?
But that was a little outside my control. And then as a result, it's important that you can, you don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing, right? And you can change and you can grow and you can evolve and you need to. So I think that is extremely important. Like if you look at, I mean, the best decision that I made was going to do my MBA program at U Windsor. And I say that for a couple reasons. It's not because I went and learned business more. Up until that point in my life, I had always been, from 12 years old on when I said, I'm going to be a hockey player. I was a hockey player
Yeah.
that everybody knew me. I looked like a hockey player. I had a hockey hair. Like I was a hockey player, right? And then I recreated myself that year. Even doing my undergrad, I was a hockey coach. I was doing everything was hockey and business was secondary. So I made a conscious shift that I'm going to evolve, I'm going to change, and I'm going to be a business person that used to play hockey,
Right.
as opposed to a hockey player that's learning business. And that mindset shift changed the trajectory of my life. And to the point now that a lot of people have no idea that I played hockey. Some do. Like the amount of people that I come across and they go like, you look familiar. And I'm like, I'm with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know why they're saying you look familiar.
Yeah.
Because they're used to watch me playing the Spitfires. Like, and I know that, but I don't lead with that. That's the last thing I do.
Right.
I mean, I was at a meeting this morning with a person I'd never met before. And up until 10 minutes before the conversation ended, he had no idea that I played for the Spits or was a captain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great because that's former Ryan. Like,
yeah.
So, the life lesson that helped me get to where I am is, life is full of like inflection points where you're either going to change or it's going to be forced for you to change. And then how are you going to endorse and adapt to that?
Yeah.
Because if I would have said at 25 years old, when my hockey career was done, that I'm hockey Ryan, I will always be hockey Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I would probably be an assistant coach in some league in the middle of America and probably not, I wouldn't have married my wife.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have these kids and life would have been completely different. And I would have been bouncing around every 2 to 3 years for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's great if that's the direction that I want it to be.
Yeah.
But I pulled myself out of that and said, that can't be me forever.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that, going back to my parents at the beginning is my mom always said, Ryan, I don't care if you make the NHL. Like, I don't care if you make $50 million. Like, you have to get a degree at some point or diploma. She said, but get a degree, because she knew that if I was only ever that person, I would have missed out on a lot of parts of life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like hockey's different because you could have made a financial career that I would have never had to work again.
Sure.
But then I would never have the opportunity to live a full life
right.
that is beyond the hockey rink and beyond that.
Right.
So I think that's extremely important.
And it's really funny you tell that story because I had seen you and or talked in passing a few times at different chamber events. And it wasn't until we started launching the charity poker tournament next year that I reached out to one of my friends and I was like, hey, Adam, like, who can you introduce me to? And he reached out to you.
Yeah.
And your response was, yeah, I know them. And I'm like, I did not put the 2 and 2 together. And it's funny because I was a Flames fan and I watched the whole draft, and I didn't even put the 2 and 2 together, right? Yeah. So it's pretty funny. So
me and Dion Phaneuf, Tim Ramholt was that year.
Man, Phaneuf. I went to school with Phaneuf.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Hunting Hills High School,
yeah,
Red Deer. He was a Red Deer Rebel.
yeah. We can chat about him after.
Off camera.
Sure.
Yeah, opinions might differ after off camera, maybe. Last question.
Sure.
We end the podcast with the same question to everybody.
Okay.
What does success mean to Ryan Donally?
Ooh. Like what? Like any parameters around that?
Yeah. Some people say it's relationships. Some people have said it's money. Whatever.
It's not money. I mean, money matters, of course. Like I want to have the opportunity for my family to live the life that they want to live, but that's not, they don't want to live on yachts. Like they don't want Birkin bags. Like that's not my family. Success. I want to live in a community, and I want, like, I'd say impact is more important than for me. Like at the end, when it's all said and done, what are you remembered for? Right. And that to me, like, if I think of that lens, I don't know what that'll be, and I don't know what I'll be remembered for. But to me, I think, especially now in my current career, is what positive impact have I left? And, what does that mean for my family and future generations in our community? Because I'd love for it to be this community. Like, I'm not saying I want to put my names on buildings, but I want people to think about, oh, he did this, or, his family did this, or his organization did this, and this is what it resulted in.
Right.
So I guess, legacy to a degree, a combination of legacy, impact, and collegiality and fun and enjoying myself. Like, for folks that know me, like, I'm a serious guy, but I'm laughing all day long. So I need to smile every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's extremely important. So if I can smile every day and get the people around me smiling every day, that's pretty impactful, and that's successful for me.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a win.
Cool. Well, Ryan, thanks for taking the time
to
chat on the Success podcast here, and hopefully we'll get you on another time.
Thank you. That was great.
Thanks.